You're watching Channel 4 News and Sport. Our main headline tonight: the Olympics corruption scandal is widening as international officials decide their action over the Salt Lake City bribery claims. First Australia, now Norway and Turkey are involved in fresh allegations. Now, proof perhaps that mediation can work, and meditation too. Ethnic Albanian guerrillas have freed 5 Serb villagers who they've been holding hostage. The release came after international monitors spent all day negotiating with their rebels at their stronghold in Kosovo. The government has denied new claims that the cabinet enforcer Jack Cunningham breached the ministerial code of conduct by failing to declare visits to British Nuclear Fuels Hospitality Complex near Sellafield. The Cabinet Office and the Ministry of Agriculture insisted that Mr Cunningham was not involved with any ministerial decisions affecting nuclear matters and was only linked with Sellafield because it was in his constituency. Now, American forces have been involved in another clash over Iraq's no-fly zone. US warplanes bombed 2 surface-to-air missile sites in the country's southern zone after claiming 2 Iraqi MiGs were violating the airspace. Until today, it was Western Europe's biggest far-right party. And then there were 2. The French National Front is splitting up. Rebel delegates are meeting this weekend to rally support for Bruno Maigret's bid to overthrow Jean-Marie Le Pen. He denounced the meeting as an illegal coup. Both factions are now fighting for the right to the Front's name, symbol and party headquarters. Thousands of people ventured out into the grim January weather today to look at some water lilies. They're queuing to see the new exhibition at London's Royal Academy, Monet in the 20th century, showing off some of the Impressionists' most important works. 600,000 people are expected to file in to visit, making it the most popular art exhibition ever staged in this country. Once it was secret, an unmentionable plan to discard socialism and forge a new centre-left alliance which would govern for a generation. Then, as they luxuriated in their election victories, Tony Blair and Paddy Ashdown went public on the project, cooperating in cabinet. They didn't even tell their parties at first, and then fly away Peter Mandelson and fly away Paddy. Could it be Fly Away Project? Our reporter Peter Morgan uncovers the strategy designed to reshape the face of British politics.
From the wasteland of opposition, they dreamt of only one thing: absolute power and how to win it. Their leader, Mr. Tony, had the charm. Mr. Mandy had the cunning. With the help of their sidekick, Captain Paddy, they had a plan. They called it the Project.
The hard political thinking behind the project is to get Labour elected, to govern competently and to stay in power. Everything else is a tactical consideration.
The project first evolved in the mid-80s when Thatcherism set the tone and content of British politics. The idea was to create a strong centre ground, as in Germany, which would break the Conservatives' hold on power. Labour modernisers wanted an end to two-party ya-boo politics. The project meant new policies which would reconcile Labour's welfare state and the Tories' market economy.
It's always been clear that it's been an attempt to change, to transform the nature of British politics. If Labour was simply to be in power for 5 years and then to lose, to be replaced by a Conservative government going back to the agenda of the 80s, then it would have been deemed to be a complete failure. This is an attempt to recast things for generations to come. So I think we've only really seen the beginning of the project.
Paddy Ashdown was an essential part of the project. His party, though, aren't so sure. Labour's huge majority means they don't need the Lib Dems as coalition partners, for this Parliament at least. And in places like Sheffield or East London, the two parties can't stand each other. Elections for the Scottish Parliament and the Welsh Assembly, though, may be more cordial.
While people seem very cautious about talking in partnership terms in Westminster, in Scotland and Wales this is an open debate. In both contexts, the Liberal Democrats and Labour have talked about the prospect of working together in partnership.
It promises a break. But some of Mr Blair's party think the Millbank tendency has gone too far. To them, the project has sinister undertones. It promises a brave new world where politics is purged of ideology and sincerity.
What is I think, being advocated is a tyranny of enlightenment. Enlightened people permanently selected, self-selected by a system of patronage, governing in what is perceived to be an enlightened way without all the trouble of people disagreeing with them. Now the problem with that, of course, is that tyrannies can be enlightened when they start, but they tend not to be enlightened for very long.
So remember, the project is never dead. It's just sleeping and coming soon to a voting booth near you.
Peter Morgan. Finally, the weather. Tonight, a belt of rain will cross most of the south, followed by clearer, colder weather from the north. Tomorrow, most places will start off bright with sunny spells. Then I'm afraid wet weather will spread across most of England and Wales. Next week it'll turn wet and windy, especially in the north, although it will feel much milder with a fair bit of sunshine around. Now, Sue has tonight's sport headline.
Yes, John, Kevin Keegan recaptures the glory days as his second division side Fulham knock Aston Villa out of the FA Cup. We're going places, he said this afternoon.
Our main headline tonight, International Olympic Committee officials are considering whether to expel members accused of being involved in the biggest corruption scandal in the history of the Games. As new allegations emerge, more investigations could be on the way. We're back at 7 on Monday night. Till then, that's Channel 4 News. Good evening.
A new game show that wrecks your self-esteem and writes off your car. Sky TV's Beat the Crusher gets a battering on Right to Reply. Next.